little ones, my real ones, for people trying to feel some, for all the bridges burned along the way and how we still run and still swim, even though we underwater, never hit the kill switch and overcome like everything we limits. Walking past, I've been the thinnest, almost lost myself within it. All the roads that end the quickest means you didn't take it farther. I gotta go harder in case of my departure.
You know that I'll always try to get it right. I'm working hard to leave a legacy behind. Yeah, you know that I'll always fight for what is mine. I'm working hard to leave a legacy behind.
Most people are not overwhelmed. They're just disorganized in their thinking. And because they don't know how to properly face their problems, simple situations become super heavy. And small issues become absolute chaos. And life starts to feel like it's falling apart when in reality, they're just never learned how to slow down and think clearly and respond like a leader, like a pro, like a disciple. And if you don't fix that, you won't just struggle in life, you'll repeat it. So let's tell the truth. You don't need another podcast. You don't need another sermon. You don't need another motivational push. You need a process. Because most of what you're dealing with right now is not really complex. It's a conversation you're avoiding, a decision you're delaying, a boundary you're avoiding to set, a system you never built, a truth you don't want to face. And that's not chaos, that's a complete lack of structure. And if your thinking has no structure, life will always feel unstable. Because here's the real issue. Most people don't have a problem-solving problem. They have a thinking problem. They react too fast. They take everything personal. They chase symptoms. They avoid root causes. And then they ask, why does this keep happening to me, Lord? Because you keep responding the exact same way. That's why. And if your response never changes, your outcomes won't either. So let me give you something simple. Something not complicated, not theoretical, not something you need a degree to understand. 4 words, that's it, just 4. Pause, define, diagnose, and decide. And if you master these 4 words, you will operate differently than most people in your life and anyone else. First, let's talk about pause. See, this is where most people absolutely lose. Because the moment something happens, emotions take over. Anger, frustration, fear, ego. And now you're not problem solving or solving the problem. You're reacting to how the problem made you feel. And scripture already warned us, be still and know that I am God. Stillness is not weakness, it is alignment. Because you cannot hear God clearly if you're moving emotionally. Let me say that again. You cannot hear God clearly if you are reacting emotionally. Not every urgent feeling is an urgent truth. Leaders must pause in this moment because that pause is where clarity is born. Second, define. What is the actual problem? Not what it feels not like, not what it looks like, not what you assume, but what is actually happening. Because most people say things like, they don't respect me, or everything is falling apart around me. Nothing is working. But those are simply emotional conclusions, not truth. And Jesus said it like this. He said, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. But you cannot be set free from something you refuse to define properly. See, a symptom is loud, but the truth is quiet. Missed deadlines may not be laziness. It may be unclear expectations. Conflict may not be disrespect. It may be a simple lack of communication. Stress may not be pressure. It may be a lack of structure. And if you misdefine the problem, you are guaranteed to find the wrong solution. Third, diagnose. Why is this happening? This is where leaders must separate themselves, where those who are disciplined must separate themselves, because they stop asking what's wrong and they start asking, why does this keep happening? See, scripture says, if any of you lacks wisdom, ask God. That means the step is not just intellectual, it's spiritual. You start looking for patterns, habits, broken systems, unspoken expectations, areas of disobedience. And here's the part that most people don't want to hear. Some problems are not spiritual attacks. They are exposures. And God is revealing something about your thinking, about your habits, about your leadership style, about your alignment. And if you ignore it, you will repeat it. Fourth, decide. This is where everything breaks down for most people, because they already know what to do. They just don't want to do it. Scripture says it like this: do not merely listen to the word, but do what it says. You need to have that conversation. You need to set that boundary. You need to change that habit. You need to let that thing go. But instead, you wait, you delay, you overthink. And delayed obedience, guess what it still is? It still is disobedience. And leaders, let me talk to you. Decide and then move. If you are a leader, this is not optional, because people don't just follow your vision. They follow your process. If you panic, they panic. If you're unclear, they're confused. If you misdiagnose, everything suffers. But when you think clearly, you create stability. You create direction. You create trust. A leader's job is not to panic better than everyone else. It's to bring clarity where there is chaos. Let me leave you with this. Your life will not change when your problems disappear. Your life will change when your ability to handle the problems improves. You don't need a new life. You need a better process. And if this sharpens you, ladies and gents, please subscribe, hit that follow button, share this with someone who just needs some simple clarity. And if you're ready to level up your thinking, your leadership, your discipline, let's build, let's connect. Until next time, salute.